we present My Word. A panel game devised by Tony Schrein and Edward J. Mason. And here to introduce the teams is John Julius Norwich.
Thank you. Our teams for this week are Dilys Powell, Antonia Fraser, Frank Muir and Denis Norden. And so we go straight into round one, which is a peer into Mrs. Burns' dictionary of unusual, obscure and, I regret to say, preposterous words. What, Frank, might you suppose to be the meaning of the word zonesthesia?
Aesthesia presumably is a feeling, a sensitivity towards...
It is.
Zone. So it's a sensitivity, a zone which is sensitive.
A sensitive zone?
Yes.
Up to a point, you're right. I think you've already scored 1 mark. But zone actually means something as well as zone. In fact, the word zone comes from a Greek word which actually means something slightly different. You're getting there.
Oh, a belt. A belt.
A belt, a girdle.
It's sensitivity about the belt.
I think I can pretty well give it you, yes. What it really means is it's a feeling that your girdle is too tight. You feel zonesthetic. You retire gently to the ladies or the gents, whichever it is, and make the necessary adjustments.
In other words,
and return feeling very much better.
Roll on now, deep and dark blue ocean. Roll.
Speak for yourself.
And the roll-on's rolled.
That's more or less right. I think you've got it. I will award you 1.5. You had a little help. Antonia. Misodoctakleidist.
I can do it. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious is the next bit, isn't it?
I'm sure it's a word constantly on your lips. Do you want me to spell it? I will, if you like.
No, please don't. I
All
must
right.
ask you not to.
I'll just say it again.
Yeah.
Misodoctakleidist.
Any clues?
You might say, if as a child I hadn't been a Misodoctakleidist, I would be at the Wigmore Hall today.
Tone deaf?
Not altogether.
Miso lacking in something. Yeah? Or not?
No, I don't think misogynist, misanthropist.
No. Dislike of?
Dislike of is better.
Calling Dr. Cleidus.
Dislike of playing the piano?
So near. Clyde means keys. Actually, it means dislike of practicing the piano. 1.5 marks.
Thank you very much.
Level pegging so far. Dilys. Insecable. Waiter, remove this steak. It's insecable.
You can't cut it.
You can't cut it.
You can't use a secateurs on it.
You can't use a secateurs on it.
I always do when I get a steak. I always take my secateurs with me.
Very sensible precaution, too. Anyway, I can't possibly withhold 2 marks for that, can I?
Sure.
No, I can't. Denis. Discalceate.
Discalceate. S or... Is the last one an S or a C?
No, the last one is a C.
C-E-A-T-E. Discalceate.
Yes. D-I-S-C-A-L-C-E-A-T-E.
Yes. Well, it's what women do in the pictures, if that's not a sort of MCP remark. They take their shoes off.
Taking their shoes off is exactly what it is. It's what women do in the pictures, and indeed... If I may say, without fear of misinterpretation, that I have been known to do it myself. Well, before we go into round 2, Frank and Denis, here are the quotations that you've been given for the last round. Frank, your quotation is, half a loaf is better than no bread. And Denis, that maudlin song of the 1930s, I'm dancing with tears in my eyes. And now for a round entitled Something in Common. What I want to know is, what do the following words, names, or phrases have in common? Frank. Nymptopsical, cherubimical, and bibacious.
Cherubimical. must be having a pink bottom. Biblical. Cherubical. And what was the third one?
Bibacious.
Bibacious presumably is connected to the word bibulous and means to do with drink, intoxicating drink. Nympoptical. They sound like one of those dreadful American words like, rather good American words, like pixelated.
Yes.
Are they nymptopsical? Are they all sort of under some kind of airy-fairy influence?
I think you could probably say they were.
Thank you. 2 marks. I see there's no reason to quibble further. Surely no.
No, but you may like the additional information that they're not just sort of colloquialisms for the state of drunkenness, but they all actually figured in a list of 227 synonyms for the word drunk, which was compiled by no less a figure than the late Benjamin Franklin. 2 marks. Antonia, dear, what have the following in common? Mr. Samuel Pepys, a provincial lady, and a nobody.
Every day in every way, they wrote it all down, i.e. kept a diary.
They did.
Can I get extra lovely marks for telling you the name of the provincial lady?
You can.
E.M. Delafield?
A half extra lovely mark. And if you can give me the identity of the nobody?
Well, either Mr. Pooter or the Grossmiths, whichever way you like to look at it.
Quite right. Mr. Pooter being the subject, the Grossmiths being the authors.
How right you are.
How can I possibly withhold another thing? Dilys, what do the following activities have in common? Taking part in a tug of war, rowing a boat, and retiring in the presence of royalty.
What was the second one?
Rowing a boat.
Rowing a boat. You did it all backwards.
Perfectly right. You do it all backwards. The further backwards you go, the more progress you make. 2 marks. Denis, a 3-leaf clover, over the falls.
Over the halls?
Falls.
Falls.
Like Niagara.
Yeah.
A non-stop lift, and round the world.
I've never heard of any. Are they throws in wrestling?
No, they are not throws in wrestling.
A three-leaf clover.
There is a sort of loose sporting connection.
Well, patience. Different forms of patience.
No, you haven't quite got it, and I don't think you're going to. I shall tell you. They are all various extremely skillful, difficult manoeuvres which can be performed with a yo-yo. And now for a round of 3-word quotations. Can you recite the quatrain of poetry that contains the following 3-word quotation? Frank. The moving finger.
Right. Comma.
Do you want to semicolon, actually?
And having writ moves on, and all your piety nor wit shall nor your piety nor wit shall lure the theory of half a line, nor all your tears wash out a single word. It's by... Can I have a bonus mark? Edward Fitzgerald wrote it loosely based upon some verses by a Persian gentleman.
Well done. I think you made a splendid. You got one or two tiny little words wrong. Actually, it's the moving finger writes, and having writ moves on. Nor all thy piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all thy tears wash out a word of it. Still, a splendid stab at it, and 2 well-deserved marks. Antonia. This is harder, I warn you. Showery, flowery, bowery.
Certainly is harder. I immediately turned to Denis.
I don't know. Are these one of these double dactyl things?
Treble dactyl, really.
Treble dactyl. Yeah. I don't know this. No.
Any clues? Any trading?
Well, it's part of a calendar.
The shepherd's calendar?
No, not altogether. I think this is one of those ones which either you know or you don't.
Yes.
And in this case, oddly enough, between the two, I think I don't.
I think the latter is the case.
Yes.
Yes. It is in my case, too, or was. Anyway, I'll tell you the answer. It's rather good, actually. I can't think why we don't all know it. It's very useful. It's a little quatrain which actually consists of adjectives describing the months. It runs as follows. Snowy, flowy, blowy.
August.
Showery, flowery, bowery. Hoppy, croppy, droppy. Breezy, sneezy, freezy. And it's called The 12 Months, and it's by somebody whose name, I'm about to say, has never come to my notice until now, called George Ellis. Too bad. Better luck next time. Dilys. An empty dream.
An empty dream?
An empty dream.
All my dreams are empty. Well... Do you know that?
No.
Do you know that?
No,
I don't know.
have the faintest idea. They're twitching.
Do they know?
Are you
Dennis has
twitching?
been intoning
Told me
it.
not in mournful numbers, life is but an empty dream.
Well done. That's the first two.
And I know it's Longfellow.
It is.
Life is real. Life is
Something
earnest.
else things are something not what they seem.
For the soul is dead that slumbers, and things are not what they
seem.
Well done, Dennis. A bonus mark. It wasn't your question, but you got it. Well done. Bonus mark for the team on my right. And now for some legitimate marks, Dennis, for a change. A 3-word quotation which you may think actually might come in many a poem, but anyone will do for the answer. A cannonball.
A cannonball. Is it somewhere in Into the Valley of Death? Is that?
Well, if you can find me a
No, I
quotation.
can't. I can't. Can you...
I think you'll know this one quite well.
Tom Hood.
Tom Hood.
Oh, yes.
Shut off his...
Wait a minute. Is it the one where he took off his arms, so he laid down his arms?
Can you do it?
It has to rhyme with arms, and it was Ben Battle. Ben Battle was a soldier bold, and a line that rhymes with arms. A cannonball took off his legs, and he laid down his arms.
Well done. Ben Battle. The actual poem is called Faithless Nellie Grey by Thomas Hood, and it runs, Ben Battle was a soldier bold and used to war's alarms. A cannonball took off his legs, so he laid down his arms. Well done. And now for a quick round of original titles. There now follows the original title, which was first chosen by an author for his or her book. Can you tell me to what internationally famous title it was subsequently changed? Frank. The Sea Cook.
Was it by Robert Aircraft Carrier? If not from the sludge at the bottom of the memory, I think it was Treasure Island.
Treasure Island it was. Brilliant. Well done. 2 magnificent marks. Antonia. Mag's Diversions.
Oh, now I'm sure it's Dickens. I'm eliminating Great Expectations because that's Magwitch, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And I'm riffling through Dickens, but in my head.
Sing along a Mag.
And with a little help.
It's not another alternative title for Treasure Island.
It's not, actually, this time, no.
Well, Dennis is also, as well as speaking, whispering. Oliver
And drinking a glass of water.
All with no hands. David Copperfield?
David Copperfield, well done. Yes, David Copperfield. 2 more magnificent marks. Dilys, what book was originally called First Impressions?
Not a novel.
A novel.
A novel.
Go back 30 or 40 years from the last one.
30 or 40 years
From Dickens.
Dickens. That takes us to about...
Say 30.
Is
18.
it Jane Austen?
Ah.
It is Jane Austen.
Pride and Prejudice.
Pride and Prejudice is right. Well done. Well done. 2 marks. Denis. Tenderness.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I don't
Are you
know.
sticking to that?
No, I'm not waving, I'm drowning. Yeah. Tenderness.
It is actually the particular passages describing the tenderness demonstrated by the characters in this book which has made it world famous.
Oh, Lady Chatterley's Lover.
Lady Chatterley's Lover is right. How did you guess? You needed a little bit of help, but have a mark. Now we come, as usual, to the last round and to Frank and Denis's quotations. Frank, your quotation, you remember, is half a loaf is better than no bread.
Yes, it's absolutely true, isn't it? Particularly when you're slimming. I didn't realise I needed to slim, but I weighed myself about 10 days ago. I went down to let the puppy... We got a new puppy who's a standard beige standard poodle, about the size of a large goat, 5 months old, and she's teething, and she teethes on my calves and on my wrists. And so I let her out and fed her and went back upstairs and thought I'd pop into the children's bathroom and weigh myself. I hadn't done so for a while. And I'd put on 9 stone in the last few years. So I went back into the bedroom, as you can imagine, somewhat dismayed. And I took the suit of armour off that I was wearing. Well, it's the only way with a puppy, you see, because otherwise you get torn to pieces. And I was terribly worried how to cut down weight, because that 9 stone is a lot. I'm usually 13.5 stone, and I was 23.5. And drastic, and dieting is a difficult business. I mean, Denis has a saying about this, which he said a little while ago. He said, in regard to dieting, that he couldn't contemplate anything. What was the phrase, Denis?
It was memorable, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. I hope so.
I couldn't contemplate anything which involved cottage cheese and willpower.
Well, that was more or less the same with me. With me, it was self-control and yoghurt. Because I can't bear yoghurt. It's all sort of sloppy and whatnot. And the trouble is with dieting is they want to deprive you. You have to exercise self-control about eating things you like. Like butter and cream and Guinness and all the good things in life. And you have to replace it with these filthy things like yoghurt, with sort of slosh left in farmers' milk churns the day after. And I was in despair. And then we saw a television programme, and there were these 2 dietitians. I'm not sure how many talking about slimming. And one dietitian who was a dismal-looking, bow-legged man who looked like a cellist whose cello had been stolen from under him. He was sitting next to this enormous fat lady. And they were talking about diets and said the thing about diet is that you mustn't just have 150 bananas a day or yogurt or bread. Bread's terribly fattening. What you've got to have is roughage. It's fibre. And I thought if I could cut out bread, which I don't mind, and eat this fibre, I'll be all right, and I'll lose my 9 stone. And I was mooning around the house looking for something which was fibrous, and I suddenly saw in the bathroom a loofah. If you consider a loofah is in essence a length of French bread filleted. It's the right shape. So I cut it in half and allocated myself a demi-loofah per day. Now, for breakfast, you take a couple of slices off and put milk and sugar on. And it's not bad. For lunch, with plenty of butter, it's okay, but you've got to dampen it. Otherwise, it's a bit like trying to eat your way through a shopping basket. And in the evening, just have it with toast and some melted cheese on top. And you know, in 9 days I lost a stone a day, because only yesterday I decided to weigh myself again and see how I was getting on. And I wasn't wearing my armour because it was the afternoon, and I weighed myself stark naked. It's a bit tricky because, you know, the chemist in Egham High Street on a... But I'd gone down to 13.5 stone, lost 9 stone in 9 days, all due to this diet. So if you're dieting, just remember my bit of advice. Cut out all that sort of dough part of your diet. Half a loofah is better than dough bread.
Denis, I'm dancing with tears in my eyes.
If I were asked to write one of those disaster movies, I know exactly what I'd base it on. My adolescence. Because, you see, I had the great personal misfortune to be 6'2" at the age of 13. Because, you see, in addition to my altitude, I was also painfully skinny. If I remember correctly, I didn't have any shoulders at all until I was 17. And then I only had one. But the consequence was that during that most sensitive period of a boy's life, not only did my general appearance look to be all bony wrists and ankles, but face on, I looked exactly like 6 o'clock. Now, what I don't have to tell you is what effect that kind of conspicuousness can have on a growing lad. By the time I'd reached 16, I reckon the activity I'd principally occupied myself with was crouching. And of course, what hurt most about this vertical disparity between me and the rest of my age group was the difficulty it created where girls were concerned. You see, what you have to remember is that this was the era when a boy's only opportunity to enter into what's now called a relationship was by means of the dance floor. Now, back in those days of tangos and slow foxtrots, dancing was still a contact sport. You didn't so much dance with a girl, you danced among her. And because of that, there were 2 standard dancing styles by which a lad could build upon any opportunities that were offered. One was to dance gazing soulfully into the partner's eyes all the time, which made steering a bit erratic, but it kept her attention. The other style, which could achieve effects that were even more dizzying, was the one known as cheek to cheek. Now, just use your imagination again. I was 6'2", and the average height of the Stamford Hill girls that year was no more than about 5'6". The only possible way any of them could dance eyeball to eyeball with me was by assuming a posture rather like the spectators at the Farnborough Air Show. As one girl put it, 5 minutes more of this, and my signature tune will be I Get a Crick Out of You. It was the other style which finally sent me in search of psychiatric aid, because any attempt at a proper cheek-to-cheek would have meant me dancing in the shape of a particularly round-shouldered question mark. What most girls adopted was a kind of halfway position with me, which might be called cheek-to-chest, which could have worked were it not for the female fashions of that time. Now, do you remember how girls adorned themselves then? Apart from that Betty Grable hairstyle, which always looked like a sardine tin with the lid rolled back. What they also went in for was costume jewellery earrings, all chunky, spiky and pronged, right? So I leave you to picture what happens if a girl who's been dancing with her head on your chest unknowingly gets one of her earrings pronged into your knitted tie. When the music stops and she straightens up, a small bit of earlobe remains. It was those, as much as anything else, which finally drove me to seek help with my height problem. Because when the psychiatrist asked what was troubling my young mind, I simply showed him my collection of blood-stained neckwear. Then, with as much dignity as I could muster, I said, "I'm dancing with ears in my ties."
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I see from the score sheet that Dilys and Frank are the winners in this week's contest. And so... And so now it's goodbye from Dilys Powell, Antonia Fraser, Frank Muir and Denis Norden.
In My Word, the chairman was John Julius Norwich. The questions were compiled by Peter Moore, and the programme was produced by Denis Norden.
You've been listening to My Word from the BBC, heard each week at this time.
We present My Word. A panel game devised by Denis Norden and Edward J. Mason. And here to introduce the teams is John Julius Norwich.
Thank you. Our teams for this week are Denis Powell, Gillian Reynolds, Frank Muir and Denis Norden. First, a round of Victorian vulgarisms, slang terms that were considered trendy about a century ago. Frank, what would you suppose to have been the meaning of the phrase, to fly a flag of distress?
I think it means, or meant, certainly in the 18th century, to wear a rosette in your hat. It's a naval term, to wear a rosette in your hat if you were a half-pay officer, which meant there was no war on, and you had no ship, and you had to exist on half-pay.
He can make up anything, can't he? It's totally wrong, of course. No marks. To fly a flag of distress actually meant to have a piece of your shirt showing through or protruding from your trousers. In the former case, it was taken as a sign of poverty. There's a marvellous bit in the diaries of the Reverend Francis Kilvert, where he says that in the village of Dursley in Gloucestershire, it was the custom when people went home at night, the gentlemen went ahead with their shirt deliberately pulled out of the back of their trousers at the back to show the ladies the way. And they were called Dursley lanterns. Gillian, to say of a horse that it has devotional habits, what does that mean?
Devotional habits, well, praying. Would it have something to do perhaps with its knees, or not knees, or falling down, the stammers, something like that?
Yes, you're very, very close. Its knees, its front knees.
Front knees.
Falling down, as you said.
Falling down. Well, kneeling. Now, I can't get any closer to Victorian horses than that.
Anything to do with the Paston papers?
Not... No, it really meant that it was a horse that was weak at the knees and was therefore liable to stumble and therefore to kneel. I mean, to go down on its knees in front.
I said that.
It's more or less what you said. I'll give you... You didn't quite say it all, did you? But you said it very nearly all. I'll give you 1.5 marks.
Thank you.
Dilys, what did it mean 100 years ago if you said that somebody got a monkey's allowance?
A monkey's allowance? Anything to do with money?
Yes.
Something to do with money.
Something to do with money.
A monkey is a unit of money. I don't know how much it means. Anything to do with that?
No.
No. A monkey's allowance. Well,
Nutting.
a monkey... a monkey wouldn't have got very much, would he? No. It's an allowance to a monkey.
He actually got less than nothing.
Less than nothing. He got kicked.
Yes, he got kicked. He got more kicks than halfpence, as people subsequently started saying. A monkey's allowance meant that you expected to get money, you expected to get thanks, you expected to get a fee. Instead of that, you got a kick in the teeth. That was a monkey's allowance. But I'll give you 1.5 marks too, because you were very, very nearly there. Dennis, to use a louse trap.
To use a... Wouldn't be when... if a woman put on her wedding ring.
Not quite.
To use a louse trap. Is it literal, or is it...
It's almost literal. It's very nearly literal.
Oh, yes. Yes, Gillian thinks
I think
it's
Gillian's
the
got
fine
it.
tooth comb.
To use a fine-tooth comb is precisely right. I cannot withhold from you... I cannot withhold from you 2 most well-deserved marks. 1 to you and 1 to Gillian. The team gets 2. And now, before we go into round 2, Frank and Dennis, here are the quotations that you've been given for the last round. Frank, your quotation is that well-known couplet from the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, "A sadder and a wiser man, he rose the morrow morn." And yours, Dennis, is "Nothing succeeds like success." And so on we go to a round entitled 2 out of 3. Who or what is missing that would transform the following pair into a perfect trio? Frank. Mrs. Susanna Hall and Mrs. Judith Quiney.
They're the married names of 2 of the Beverley sisters. No, they're not, no. Billy Wright is one, isn't it, come to think of it. I need a little thrust here.
Well, they were sisters,
I
you're
found
perfectly right
myself
there,
full
but
of
they
sisters.
weren't Beverley sisters. They were sisters whose name was, before they were married, infinitely more famous than Beverley.
Oh, it's the Andrews sisters.
Oh, yes, the Andrews sisters. The Andrews sisters.
You could hardly find a more famous name which was theirs before they married. They must have thought they were cheapening themselves with Mr. Hall and Mr. Quiney.
Susanna Norwich, Judith Norwich.
Oh, so near, so near. But I'm forced to admit it wasn't even Norwich. It was Miss Susanna Shakespeare and Miss Judith Shakespeare.
And
they were
Hamlet.
Shakespeare's children.
Hamlet.
And the third one was, you are
Hamlet.
right in saying, Hamlet Shakespeare. He was the son, Judith and Susanna were the daughters. So I'll give you 1 mark for Hamlet. Well done. Gillian. What is missing that would transform the following pair into a perfect trio? A dog and a walnut tree.
Yes, this is a very sexist quotation, and I know about it because it always coming up on Gardener's Question Time. A woman, a dog, and a walnut tree. The more you beat them, the better they be. Not true, not true.
Not true. I'm almost ashamed of asking the question. Nonetheless, 2 marks is what you get.
Because you shouldn't beat a dog.
But on Gardener's Question Time, they say it does do the walnut tree good to be beaten.
Dilys. The third, please, from Equilateral, Isosceles, and...
Equilateral.
Yes.
Isosceles.
Oh, yes.
The equilateral means all the same size, same shape, length of size. Isosceles is a triangle.
They're all triangles.
They're all triangles,
They're
aren't they?
both triangles.
Both of them.
Both triangles.
Presumably they're all triangles. So what's
Are
the
they?
third one?
No, there can't be another triangle, can there?
The Eternal.
She knows. She knows.
Is there a musician in the house?
No, There's the equilateral triangle, which has all its sides the same. There's
Yes,
the isosceles triangle, which has 2 of its sides the same. And there's the scalene triangle, which has only 1 of its sides the same. In other words, all its sides are different.
Can therefore apply for supplementary benefits.
And the answer is scalene. There it is. I'm sorry, I can't give you any marks, but there it is. The answer is scalene. S-C-A-L-E-N-E, a triangle that has absolutely none of its sides at all the same.
I've never heard that. I don't know. It isn't true.
Well,
it's not true. Really?
it's an educational program, as I pointed out before. Dennis.
Not possible.
Officers and gentlemen, men-at-arms, and...
And unconditional surrender.
And unconditional surrender. Well done. What are they?
They're the Sword of Honour trilogy by Evelyn Waugh.
Well done. 2 marks. Now for a round of miscellaneous monosyllables. In 30 seconds, and Leonie is going to time you, in 30 seconds, can you tell me, without help from your teammates, a dozen words, all of 1 syllable, that define bits and pieces of the human body? Frank. Bits and pieces of the human body in 30 seconds, starting from now.
From the top, hair, eye, ear, tongue, mouth, rib, hip, thigh, toe, knee, foot, nail, heart, vein, blood, tooth.
You had foot?
Well, that's 12. Chin. Heart.
You said
Foot.
heart.
You had
No,
foot.
time's up.
No.
Well done. I made that. What did I make that? I made it 13. Well done. Gillian. 30 seconds. 1 syllable only. Articles or part articles of clothing, starting from now.
Dress, skirt, top. Hat, wig, shoe, sock, vest, pants, cuff, tie, slip.
Time. Well done. 12. Dilys. Single syllable, 30 seconds. Domesticated creatures to be found in or around a farmyard, starting now.
Cow, hen, cat, dog, pig, sheep.
No help from your friend.
Sorry, you mustn't help me. We've had hen, cock.
Bull.
Bull. What else? I'm not a farmyard girl. I can't think of any more.
Now, 9.
No.
Dennis. 30 seconds. Single syllables. Tools, implements, or utensils used by being held in one hand.
Oh, no.
Starting from now.
Pen, knife, fork, spoon. Knife, fork, spoon. Nail. Scissors is two scissors. Unless you only have one scissor. Yeah. The knife, fork, pen, string, glass, thing. Whenever I have to do anything, they say you can't do that unless you've got a thing for it, right? Cash, which will get anything done with one hand. Frank, jug.
Finish. Sorry, 9. Well done.
Frank's
So,
the clever.
team. The team on my left, Dilys and Frank, are 1 up on that particular round. And now,
Pretty good at getting 13 out of 12.
Yeah. Shouldn't he get a
now
toy
for a
or something?
round of poetical pairings. Can you quote the lines of poetry that include the following association of 2 words together? Frank, lines of poetry including the words starry skies.
Starry... Sounds like a song, doesn't it?
I don't think it's ever been set to music. If it were, I'd sing it to you, but I don't think it has been. No? Anybody?
She walks in beauty like the night.
Well done.
Sun and starry skies.
Yeah.
Well, she walks in beauty like the night. Well done. Of cloudless times and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her... Gillian. Unfathomed caves.
Oh.
Unfathomed caves. Now, wait a minute. Now, is this that poem that's got the noiseless tenor in it as well?
The noiseless tenor, it is.
Has it got the noise? Has it got Muting Glorious Milton as well?
It's got the Muting Glorious Milton, yes.
Am I getting warmer?
Ever so warm.
Has it got lowing herds?
Boiling.
Has it got an adjective to practically every noun?
Very nearly.
Is it Gray's Elegy?
It is.
Many a flower. That's right.
Isn't it the gem of purest ray serene in the unfathomed caves down in the sea somewhere?
That's right. For many a flower is born to blush unseen and waste its sweetness on the desert air. Well, Gray's Elegy, I give you a mark and a half because you so nearly got it. Well done.
Do you know the population of Stoke Poges is almost exactly the same as the population of the city of Vaduz, which is the capital of Liechtenstein.
I told you it was an educational program. Can we go on now? Dilys. Innumerable bees.
It's Tennyson.
It is?
It's Tennyson. The murmur of innumerable bees.
Wonderful.
Or something else.
Well done, yes. Can
Yes.
you remember what the other thing was? You've got it, really. Can you remember the line immediately before it? The moan...
Of something doves.
Immemorial
doves.
elms come in there somewhere.
Well done,
don't
you've
they?
got it.
Yes.
Together you've got it. The moan of doves in immemorial elms and murmuring of innumerable bees. Well done, I can't withhold 2 marks.
It's
for
a
that.
wonderful line.
It's a lovely
The
line.
murmur of a new...
English teachers always give it as an example of onomatopoeia, don't they? The
Murmuring of innumerable
bees.
yes.
Wouldn't you love to hear someone with a stammer read that?
Sound almost better, wouldn't it? The Princess by Tennyson. Anyway, well done, Dilys. 2 marks. Dennis. Mazy Motion.
Is this? And what she did in the upper fifth.
The little lambsy tivy.
Yeah.
Mazy motion.
Isn't this meandering with mazy motion?
It is
Has it got...
Yes, it's the sacred river Alf.
the Sacred River Alf. That's
yes.
right, well done.
Through
Dear
caverns
old Alf, the
immeasurable
Sacred
to
River.
man. It ran through caverns immeasurable. Not
Caverns.
dark, unfathomed caves, but caverns immeasurable to man.
Well, measureless, but...
Measureless.
5 miles meandering with a mazy motion through wood and dale the Sacred River ran, then reached the caverns measureless to man and sank in tumult to a lifeless ocean. Well done. 2 marks. Coleridge. Xanadu did Kublai Khan. And so it's time that we come and to Frank and Dennis's quotations. Frank, your quotation from the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, a sadder and a wiser man, he rose the morrow morn.
It is a cautionary tale, I tell you. There's a film by W.C. Fields called The Fatal Glass of Beer, which showed the terrors of a teetotaler actually just breaking for a moment. And it is the story I tell of much a similar fall from grace. There's a chap in our village, and he was a pay clerk in a firm, and one of the girls in the office, it was Mavis from accounts, was getting married, and he was invited to the wedding reception, and he was just going in when he was suddenly stopped by this chap with a strange staring eye. And the chap also had a very complicated kind of steel coat hanger over his arm. And the chap said, "I say, hang on there," and he gripped him with his arm. And he said, "May I introduce myself? My name is Argent Mulliner. But at school I was called Ancient Mariner, of course." I want to tell you something. He said, "Have you seen an albatross round here?" And the chap waiting to go, the rather shy chap, said, No, I haven't. I'm just going in my friend's wedding. He said, hang on. I must get an albatross. See, I've got to shoot it with this thing. And the chap said, what's that? He said, it's a crossbow. The only thing I've ever been able to do in my life is shoot things with arrows. I've been a hopeless failure all my life. And I sort of ran into old Tubby Fang. Do you know Tubby Fang? No, you wouldn't. And he said, I'm going on this observer around the world yacht race. Will you come, old lad, and look after the booze? And I had all the booze up on the deck, and suddenly I saw this turkey flying over. And I thought, let me make a change of the old diet. What? So I got out my crossbow, and I shot it. By God, it was a dead shot. It came down like a sycamore seed, bang on the booze. Broke the lot. All went into the scuppers and over. It wasn't a turkey at all. It was a thing they called an albatross. And when we got back home to harbour after we were last, of course. I mean, Tubby was no good at all, the sailor. And I was a celebrity, old boy. He said, and that was years ago. And he said, now I'm looking for another albatross to shoot with my crossbow, and then I'll be lucky again. And the other fellow said, well, I haven't got an albatross. Can I go into my wedding reception? He said, yes, I'm sorry to have bothered you with my story. Could you tell me your name? He said, well, yes, it's Mr. Ross. Albert. And he ran for the door just as the crossbow bolt thudded into the side of the door. And the poor little man was so upset by meeting this bizarre stranger that, although a teetotaler all his life, he drank half a glass of cider right down, collapsed from alcohol, was carried home, and the following morning had the first hangover of his life. His eyes wouldn't focus. He was all sort of muzzy and wuzzy. So, this is my cautionary tale. If you're going to a wedding reception and you're a teetotaler, don't get talking to strangers lurking outside, calling themselves Argent Mulliner. Or, well, as Coleridge said, you'll meet the fate of poor little Albert Ross. A cider and a wuzzier man, he woke the morrow morn.
Denis, tell us how nothing succeeds like success.
Well, I'm sorry, but I have to report the failure of yet another of my business ventures. And what makes this belly flop so particularly galling is that it wasn't only a product to which I'd attached my own name, it was also one that stood every chance of restoring Britain to its rightful place among nations, i.e. top. Now, like all great schemes, this venture had simple beginnings. One morning my son came in and said, Dad, can I borrow one of your suits tonight? And I said, certainly, lad. What do you want it for? He said, I'm going to a fancy dress party. Well, just as I was about to fell him to the ground with a bound copy of Dr. Spock, my hand was halted by a thought so startling it almost had the force of a revelation. What if it were literally true that clothes maketh the man? In other words, could the reason why the present generation behaves so differently from my own be solely because they don't wear the same clothes that we did? To test my theory, I tried to remember all the items of male apparel that you no longer see around, and the one that immediately leapt to mind as hugely important was braces. Now, if you're asking yourself why I should consider the disappearance of braces of such importance, well, just think of the physical effect that had. When Englishmen gave up wearing those elasticated straps round their shoulders, the one activity that became easier for them to do was shrugging. Now, I maintain that was a very important factor in our subsequent decline. Because, my friends, the shrug is not merely a gesture that was formerly associated only with foreigners. What is shrugging fundamentally an expression of? Apathy, disinterestedness, cynicism, the very failings that the good Sir Keith Joseph is forever mumbling on about. So isn't it logical that if we were now to get rid of the physical condition that brought about shrugging, we'd also get rid of the state of mind that it generated? In other words, restore braces to the trousers of the nation, and you'll restore our drive and sense of commitment. Now, I was beginning to discern what my vocation would be. But wait. Could there be a vanished item of male apparel that might prove even more socially valuable? What about back studs? Now, surely it was their disappearance that led to today's bitter arguments between the sexes and arguments about walnut trees and beating dogs and things like that. Because back in the time when women wore bras and men wore back studs, then both the sexes had to start the day trying to do something up behind their back. Right? Now that could well have been the product I'd have set about relaunching had I not chanced to wander into a Soho bookshop. Because there, by sheer chance, I came across a publication whose title showed that my idea had already been anticipated, because it was actually called Stud. Oh, darn it. There's no point in pursuing the project if there's already a trade magazine about it. But it was while I was idly glancing through the mag that the final suggestion for my product emerged, because in the course of an article rather oddly entitled "The Randy Milkman of Ruislip," I suddenly espied the sentence, "Nothing turns a man on more than suspenders." It was like a blinding flash of illumination. Isn't our Prime Minister always saying that what the British workman's got to do is pull his socks up? Well, when was it his socks began slipping down? The day he gave up wearing sock suspenders. And thus it was that the major share of my life savings went into the venture that became known as the Denis Norden Reborn Sock Suspender. One man's effort. You're too late. Where were you when I needed you to buy them? I called it one man's effort to aid our national recovery. In the event, of course, the idea, as I have already hinted, proved either 10 years ahead of its time or about 30 years behind it. Perhaps the most apt comment on its failure was the headline in the Financial Times on the day that we went into receivership. "Norden's Socks Aids lack success."
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I see from the score sheet that Gillian and Denis are the winners of this week's contest. And so now it's goodbye from Dilys Powell, Gillian Reynolds, Frank Muir and Denis Norden.
In My Word, the chairman was John Julius Norwich. The questions were compiled by Peter Moore, and the programme was produced by Tony Schrein. We present My Word. A panel game devised by Tony Schrein and Edward J. Mason. And here to introduce the teams is John Julius Norwich.
Thank you. Our teams for this week are Dilys Powell, Antonia Fraser, Frank Muir, and Barry Took. First, a round of assorted phobias. What would you suppose you had a horror of, or a strong aversion to, if you were a sufferer from the following phobia? Frank, dromophobia.
Is it the fear, the unreasonable fear of Greek racetracks?
Unreasonable indeed. Well, you're not very, very far off, as in hippodrome you're thinking of.
I was thinking. Or unreasoning fear of Luton Airport.
I'll give you 1 mark, I think. You've got the right sort of idea. I like the idea of Luton Airport. It's actually the fear of crossing streets. It's a fear of terrible oncoming vehicles in all directions. Have a mark. Don't tap him too much. He's only got 1. Antonia, iatrophobia.
Well, years spent learning Greek, though I don't know half as much as Dilys, who I'm sure knows this. I know it's to do with doctors, isn't it? Iatros is a physician.
He is.
Well, it must be fear of doctors.
Fear of doctors, perfectly right. People who faint when they get into a hospital, even before the treatment.
It's very interesting that both of the ones we've had so far we all suffer from. Fear of crossing the road and fear of doctors. Fear of crossing the road to the doctors is even worse.
No, I love doctors. I'm an iatrophile.
You're an iatrophile, are you?
Yes, iatrophile.
I think I'm a dromophile. I quite like crossing roads. It brings out the matador in me.
Oh, get on.
All right, I will. Dilys. Amaxophobia.
Well, now, in modern Greek, as I know only too well, amaxi means the car, which doesn't come. So, in modern Greek, one has always heard saying, "Then ilthi to amaxi," the car has not come, and I'm about to miss the plane. So, amaxophobia is something to do with being afraid of driving or something in a car, a chariot, riding in a chariot.
Cars will do. You're perfectly right. It's a fear of cars, a fear of riding in cars. 2 marks. Bravo. Barry.
Yes.
Bellonophobia.
Well, fear of the telephone springs immediately to mind. It springs immediately back, of course.
Stuck? No? Well, I'll tell you. It's a fear of sharp objects. It's a fear particularly of pins and needles. People who faint at the sight of a naked blade.
Oh, well, if you'd said that, I'd have got it.
Well, no marks for that one, I'm afraid. Doesn't matter. On we go to the next round, which is a round of bits and pieces. Of precisely what are the following some of the component parts? Frank. A hackle, a maiden, a footman, and a mother of all.
Hackle, maiden,
footman,
and
a mother of all.
Mother of all. What? They're are they not constituents of the key scene of an early romantic novel? The mother of all finds her daughter, the maiden, in the arms of a footman, and her hackles rise. Or maiden is a stick with a bit of wood on the end. Is it a roasting spit?
It's what you do with a stick with a bit of wool on the end. You've said it.
I said wood.
Oh, you said wood.
Oh, no, wool.
Wool. No, I've given you...
I meant wool, sir. It's a distaff.
It's a sort of a distaff, so they are all parts of a...
Oh, footman. Yeah, mother of all. It's a spinning wheel.
It's a spinning wheel. I think actually I'd have given you 2 marks anyway for the short story, which you so cunningly wove. But now you've got spinning wheel as well, I'll give you 3.
Good.
I feel hungry.
Antonia, of what are the following component parts? A helix, a pinna, P-I-N-N-A, an anvil, and a labyrinth.
Is it anything to do with the Minotaur?
It's not actually to do with the Minotaur, no.
I think it relates to fear of questions, frankly. Appearing on quizzes and being afraid of the question, I think.
A maxator.
They never turn up, Frank, that's the trouble.
No, I don't think
to do with surgery, do you think?
There's a certain form of surgical specialist who would instantaneously know the answer to these questions. Labyrinth. Can you remember? There is a sort of rather coiled-up thing.
Intestine.
No, it's no good. I don't think you'll get it. I will tell you.
The ear.
The ear. They're all parts of the human ear. That's exactly what they are. The helix, the pinna, the anvil, and the labyrinth. Well done. It was a close thing, but I think just in time you got it. 2 marks. Dilys. A scroll, a belly, a bridge, a neck, and a G-string.
Part of an instrument. A musical instrument.
Yes, you could say that.
Scroll, belly, a cello. Not a cello, smaller than a cello. It could be a cello, but it's a bit smaller. It's a bit miniature compared with the cello. or a bit sort of large. One or the other. It's a violin.
Why don't you take a great big chance on it?
A fiddle.
A fiddle. A violin, a fiddle is perfectly right. Cellos, I know, have scrolls, bellies, bridges, and necks, but I'm not absolutely certain whether they have a G-string. That was the only reason I couldn't give you the mark for the cello.
The air on the G-string is played on a cello.
Yeah, but perhaps not on a G-string on the cello. It may be transposed. Violins, I know, have G-strings, but dual cellos, I don't know. But please don't write in and tell me. I can easily look it up in Grove when I get home. Barry.
Yes.
A first home, a second home, a third home, and a point.
A polygamist. It's to do with polygamy.
I think I cannot possibly withhold 2 marks for a polygamist. It's not actually the answer that I have in front of me.
No, I'm sure it isn't. I mean, I was just hoping against hope that in the gap somebody would give me the answer. And is it a game that people play?
It's a game.
It's a game. It's an American game.
Not specifically, I don't think. I mean, it is played in this country as well.
Lacrosse, then.
Lacrosse is right. I gave you 2 marks, and then I've got to give you another one for lacrosse. You got 3 marks. 3 marks is what you got. Now for a round of literary fashions. Can you quote or recite, or give the sense of, the lines that describe the clothes worn by the following fictional character? Gunga Din. What did he wear, Frank?
Very little.
You remember?
Very little.
Din jacket. Well, hardly anything, because it was hot. It was hot there. And he was the water carrier, so he didn't have room for a lot of clothes under the sash, under the strap that he carried the gourd in.
What we're actually asking for is a quotation.
What?
We're asking for a quotation.
Well, lad, I mean, I'm not sure they can help you there to an extent. I think he wore uniform.
A uniform. The uniform he wore.
Yes, right.
The uniform he wore
was somewhat tall.
Better than yours.
No, I don't know this.
No. Well,
I'll be frank.
No, to be frank, which indeed you are. All right, I'll tell you. The uniform he wore was nothing much before and rather less than after that behind. But anyway, you got about the uniform. I'll give you a mark. Have a mark for Gunga Din. Well done. Antonia. Robert Southey, or do I mean Southey, wrote about the devil in a poem which you doubtless recall. Can you remember how he described the devil's clothes?
Well, I doubtless recall it. But actually there is a little doubt about whether I recall it or not. Heavens. I'll hiss at my partner.
And I'll hiss back, but I don't think it will help a great deal. What did the devil wear?
Shall I tell you what the devil wore?
Borrowed trousers. Tried borrowed trousers. That's always a good mark. 18th century.
Finery?
Borrowed trousers.
What?
Finery?
No finery. I'll tell you what he wore. His coat was red and his breeches were blue, and there was a hole where his tail came through.
I think we ought to get a mark or a bit of a mark for trousers.
Well, it was his breeches. If you'd said his breeches, I think I would have given you. But you said trousers. No good. Actually, 18th century, breeches would have been much a better bet than trousers, wouldn't they? Actually?
Yes, they would have.
Yeah. Well, there it is. Dilys, can you describe the clothing worn by Miss Havisham?
Miss Havisham?
Yes.
She wore a very old wedding dress, but I can't remember how she was described.
That's right. Can you...
She did.
Expatiate on it a tiny bit, perhaps?
It was a wedding dress which had been nearly burnt. No, I don't know how you describe it. It's covered in cobwebs, yes. She'd been wearing it for years.
That's right. She'd been sitting alone in her room, hadn't she?
Yes.
Wearing it for years. She was, in fact, what Dickens actually says is that she was dressed in rich materials, satin and lace and silks, all of white. Her shoes were white, and she had a long white veil dependent from her hair, and she had bridal flowers in her hair, but her hair was white. Anyway, I give you a mark for knowing exactly what Miss Havisham looked like.
Thank you.
Barry, the Pied Piper of Hamelin. Can you remember what he looked like, what he was dressed in?
Half in yellow and half in red.
Half in yellow, half in red, yes.
That was what he wore, and his shoes turned up at the front and down at the back. And, yes, it's very good, but extremely long. You would like the whole poem or just a bit of it?
I'd just like a bit of it, I think.
Well, I don't know any.
Oh, well, you knew a bit. His queer long coat from heel to head was half of yellow and half of red. That's what Robert Browning wrote, so it must be true.
Absolutely.
I think I cannot withhold 2 well-deserved marks.
Well, you are kind.
And now for a round of juvenile conundrums. If the difference between a prison warder and a jeweller is that one watches cells and the other sells watches, what is the difference between the following? Frank, what is the difference between a frisbee and the Prince of Wales?
Prince of Wales. One flies through the air, and the other
is heir to the flies.
So near. You're halfway there. You're halfway there.
But one... Lord.
You're all right on the air.
Oh, one is heir to the throne, and the other is thrown in the air.
Well done! Antonia, what is the difference between a cat and a comma?
One sips the milk, mips the silk, stops. Oh, I've got it. It's claws and claws. I'm halfway there.
You're halfway there?
Yes.
Where are the claws?
On its...
Paws.
Paw. One pauses the claws and the other...
so near.
Oh, dear. Pause. Yes, right. I'm new at this game. Pause.
Shall I tell you?
Yes, you'll have to.
One has claws at the end of its paws, and the other makes a pause at the end of its claws.
But I had all those words.
Yes.
You did. You had all the words, and I will give you 1.5 marks.
That's very nice.
You just needed a little bit of help at the very, very end. Dilys, what is the difference, please, between a hurt child and a thundercloud?
A which child?
A hurt
child.
Hurt child and a thundercloud.
And how do we...
One roars with pain.
Pain and rain.
And the other?
Rains with...
Pours with rain.
One roars with pain, the other pours with rain. Quite right. 2 marks. Barry, this one I like very much. What is the difference between an angry impresario and Julius Caesar's barber?
Oh, I get all the goodies, don't I? An angry impresario and Caesar's barber. Caesar shaves the... shaves the...
Shave.
Do we have shave in it here somewhere?
Angry.
Oh, I see. Yes, a raving showman and a shaving Roman.
That's right. A raving showman and a shaving Roman.
I mean, I got to a point I'd forgotten whose question it was.
Two stunningly well-deserved
friends in the
marks.
audience helped us out there.
I think both of them are combined at present at the National Theatre, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yes. Now, we have a round now which calls for verbal ingenuity. What I want you to do is to incorporate a given word into a very brief statement on a given topic. Frank.
How brief?
Very brief. At least the briefer the better. Can you include the word procrastinate in a statement about reinforced concrete?
Well, the trouble is the reinforced concrete is you pour in the concrete into a mould and it's wet cement and you bung the iron bars in and they sink to the bottom, rather like the egg in Grosvenor pie. But there's a secret, you see, that you bake the Grosvenor pie a bit beforehand until it's got a crust, and then you thrust the egg in with your thumb and it doesn't drop to the bottom. Same with the concrete. You let it cure for a while until it's developed a crust, and then you can push the reinforcing in. And that is done professionally, and the chap who does it is called a procrastinator.
4 marks. Antonia, can you include the word abracadabra in a statement about women's liberation?
It's easy. Once upon a time, a long time ago, there was a perfect world. It had nothing but women in it. There was no drink or cigarettes or anything. There were just women. And whenever they wanted to increase the race, they just said abracadabra. But one day, one woman who was too clever by half said, "I'm just bored with saying abracadabra. I've got a better method." And she outlined it. You know what it is. It's the one we use today. And so women will not be free until they go back to just saying abracadabra all over again.
5 marks. Dilys, kindly include the word idiosyncratic in a statement about cooking with garlic.
Idiosyncratic?
Idiosyncratic, yes.
Speaking as someone who was very nearly expelled from school for her dislike of the practice of cooking, indeed was detected riding her bicycle on the way to the beach to eat a halfpenny bun without currants. I regard the whole practice of cooking with anything as totally abhorrent, though I do enjoy the work of other people in that direction. And I regard the use of garlic in cooking as idiosyncratic, in that it deters the practice of embracing between the sexes.
Well done, very good. 4 marks.
It's very bad for abracadabra.
Yes, Barry, a brief statement, please, about intercontinental ballistic missiles, including the words Brigitte Bardot.
Well, thanks a bunch, as our friends say. Intercontinental ballistic missiles, as you know, have fins at one end and the members of another country at the other. And what people who have these ghastly things try to do is to not actually put any engines in them, so they don't really go in there, but they just build them, and they build them, they keep on building them, so that they always can go out to their electorate, those countries that do have electorates, and say, we have more than the other side. But on the other hand, they have more than us. And so this whole process of the intercontinental ballistic missile is an actual deterrent because they haven't got any motors in them at all. I say this to reassure you, world, if you're out there listening. And the whole point of this thing is that every country has their own version of them. I mean, some countries look at their ballistic missiles and say, abracadabra, nothing happens. Others have them made of reinforced concrete. That doesn't do a lot. Other countries don't make them at all, just procrastinate. Some of the Latin countries use garlic for their propulsion, and that doesn't work at all. But the French have used a brilliant method. They have one wonderful intercontinental ballistic missile. Whenever they're going to be really threatened, they're going to place Brigitte Bardot in it and tie to her toe a little slogan that says, "Make love, not war," and fire it. And if that doesn't get Brezhnev where he lives, nothing will.
Admirable. 5 splendid marks. Now for a question of identification. From the following biographical facts, can you identify the historical personage to whom they are pertinent or relevant? Frank, this particular figure, whom I have in mind, married a Miss Elizabeth Throgmorton. He's associated with the plant Batatas edulis, and he wrote the line, "Methought I saw the grave where Laura lay."
Batatas what?
Edulis. E-D-U-L-I-S.
Not chipid.
Not chipid.
Is Elizabeth Throgmorton Bessie Throgmorton? Is that a nasty way of obscuring?
He might well have called her Bessie.
But we call her Bessie, don't we?
You
This is
do.
a nasty way of trying to pretend that Sir Walter Raleigh's wife was called Elizabeth when she was called Bessie.
Are you trying to tell me that the person I'm thinking of is Sir Walter Raleigh?
You're absolutely right.
So are you.
4 marks.
2 marks. Antonia, dear, as a child, he had a touching experience with Queen Anne. Customarily, he wore a brown coat with metal buttons, and he once remarked that grief was a species of idleness.
Well, in spite of the fact that Frank's jumping up and down, I'm not going to let him answer because I knew his one, and as I wasn't allowed to say. Well, he was touched, presumably, for the Queen's evil by Queen Anne, and it must be Dr. Johnson.
It was Dr. Johnson, you're perfectly
I always
right.
know, when Frank jumps about more than usual, it's always Dr. Johnson.
Sometimes there's another reason, but we'll let that pass. Dilys. He wrote a novel subtitled The Tale of the Revolution in Laurania. He owned a multiplicity of hats, and he painted a picture which he entitled Bottlescape. Who was he?
Multiplicity of hats. A novel about Urania.
Mm-hmm.
Churchill wore a lot of hats.
Churchill is right. Sir Winston Churchill is perfectly right. Bravo. 2 marks. Barry.
Yes.
He invented a wood-burning stove. He made the remark, "Remember that time is money." And once he had an electrifying experience in a thunderstorm.
Well, there you go. Do you want me to be quick or slow on this one? Because I'm...
Medium.
Well, medium to American. Well, he wasn't American, he was English. He was also a publisher and all kinds of things of that ilk.
He invented bifocals.
And invented bifocals.
Invented everything.
He's invented absolutely everything, right? And he's been... he appears on stamps and on money and is in statues in the United States. It is Benjamin Franklin, I think.
It is Benjamin Franklin. You're perfectly right. Benjamin Franklin, exactly who it is. 2 marks. A quick round now of homophones, words that are spelt differently but have identical pronunciations. What such 2 words can be defined as follows? Frank, an unwelcome offshoot and humanitarian first aid.
A sport. A support. A sport, as in a rose. You have a sport.
A sport? A sport? As in a rose?
A sport is a thing that comes up from beneath the ground and doesn't flower. And a support...
Is that so? Is he having me on?
He's having you on,
I thought he was having me on.
I'd give him marks for it, but he's having you on.
He's
I
quite
don't
right
happen to
about
know
sport.
about horticulture.
Or
Right,
sucker.
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 Sakur.
Sucker.
Sucker.
sound the same. That's right, perfectly right. An unwelcome offshoot is a sucker that you have to pull off
And
your
a sport.
rose, whatever it is.
And a
And first
support.
aid is succour. Well done. 2 marks. Antonia. To interfere with and a form of decoration.
Medal.
Medal. Perfectly right. Medal. 2 marks. Dilys. A flaxen cloth and politically to solicit.
Flaxen cloth.
Yes.
Canvas.
Canvas. Yes. Canvas. Barry. To stridulate.
To stridulate?
To stridulate. And a watery cul-de-sac.
Well, rub its back legs together, but you can't get that
Well,
into
it
one
makes
word.
a sort of noise.
Oh,
Yes, what?
creak.
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 Creak. Creak is right.
Creak.
Well done.
Creak.
You got it.
Creak.
Just in time. Just a little help from your friends, but nonetheless, I think I'll give you 1.5 marks.
Oh, you're very kind.
I am.
Thank
I
you,
am.
sir.
Well, there it is. 1.5 marks, and I see, ladies and gentlemen, from the score that it is a tie. And so now it's goodbye from Dilys Powell, Antonia Fraser, Frank Muir, and Barry Took.
In My Word, the chairman was John Julius Norwich. The questions were compiled by Peter Moore, and the programme was produced by Tony Schrein. We present My Word. A panel game devised by Tony Schrein and Edward J. Mason. And here to introduce the teams is John Julius Norwich.
Thank you very much. Our teams for this week are Dilys Powell, Antonia Fraser, Frank Muir, and Denis Norden. First, a round entitled Odd Man Out. Can you tell me why one of the following does not belong in sense or in context or in meaning to the others? Frank.
Sir.
Snails, sugar, frogs, and the tails of puppy dogs.
Oh, yes. Oh.
You may well say.
Snails, sugar, frogs, and puppy dogs. There's a sort of alien element in the makeup of this lad.
True.
He has 1/5 feminine.
Well, 1/4, perhaps.
4th. Puppy dog. Yes.
Well, it depends how many tails.
Yes, because it's what a little boy is composed of, except for sugar, which is one of the elements of which little girls are composed.
Perfectly right. Vive la différence. Well done. Sugar is right. 2 marks, 2 marks. Antonia. Alice in Wonderland, Don Quixote, The Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, and Around the World in 80 Days.
Well, to be quite honest, and I know this is not the answer, the odd one out ought to be the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, because I haven't read it, but I'm sure you couldn't possibly have known that. So I'll go for some other less exciting solution.
It's full of a lot of odd man outs, isn't it?
Yes.
Because Don
They're
Quixote is odd man out in terms of dates.
Wait, I think we're on to something. They're classics. Oh,
They're
national
foreign.
classics. Alice is our classic.
Alice is our classic.
Our English classic.
The other 3 are their classics.
Yes.
Don Quixote, which I may say I'm enormously impressed to know that you actually read. You're practically the first person I know who has.
Well, I'm sorry you don't move in the kind of circles.
The size of it. That's right. Don Quixote Spanish, the Rubaiyat Persian, Around the World in 80 Days French, only Alice in Wonderland is English. 2 marks. Dilys. Port, starboard, and the hand in which Charlie Chaplin held his Malacca cane.
I think he held it in his right hand. Port. You pass it round. Do you? I don't have any.
Reluctantly.
I never have any, but...
You pass it round
you pass
in
it round clockwise, to the right.
If it's widder shins, you get
Widdershins.
asked to leave.
Yes. Port it goes round to the right.
Yes, there's a rather more ordinary meaning of port than that.
Port is the left hand.
As we've been talking about starboard.
I only think of drink.
There is what I believe is a natural antithesis between port and starboard.
Port is right... No, port is left-hand side.
Yes.
Starboard is right-hand side.
Who's the odd
Charlie
man?
Chaplin held his cane in his left.
Yes, so which is the odd man out?
So starboard.
Starboard is the odd man out. You're perfectly right. It took a little time, but you got there, and 2 marks is what you get.
Thank you.
Dennis. Foxes, women, minister, Red Riding Hood, and expectations.
Red Riding Hood, right. And expectations. Great expectations. Little Red Riding Hood. Little women. A pattern is forming, John Julius. Little Foxes, Lillian Hellman play.
Right.
Little Women, which I once got into great trouble as describing as Germaine Greer's favourite book. Little Minister, isn't that Barry, J.M. Barry? A Little Red Riding Hood, Provenance Unknown, I think. And Great Expectations. So there's a lot of littles and one great.
Which is expectations. Perfectly right. 2 marks, once again. Well done. Well, before we go into round 2, here, Frank and Dennis, are the quotations that you were given for the last round. Frank, yours is All Things Bright and Beautiful. And yours, Dennis, Pardon me, boy, is that the Chattanooga Choo-Choo? Now, a round of hiding places. What was hidden in the following unconventional hiding place? And who was the literary character who did the hiding? Frank, a baby's nappy.
Well, babies...
There's a great moment in the film.
Yes, film. Father Ronald
the film
said
of the
that a
book.
baby is a loud noise at one end of no sense of responsibility at the other. So what was hidden in the baby's nappy was irresponsibility. Half a mark.
Half a mark.
And Antonia will give you the right answer.
It's Scarlett O'Hara hiding the money in the diaper, if you don't mind, as it was called in the book, of her son Wayne Hamilton, I think he was called, in order to keep it from the wicked people who turned up.
Magnificent. Well done, Antonia, dear. Bonus mark for Antonia, who will now tell us, I'm sure, with equal ease, what was hidden in the crop of a Christmas goose.
Sounds... You see, I'm impeccable on a certain kind of literature, which we've just had.
Sounds Dickensian.
Yes, it does. Sort of...
Boy, fetch me a goose. No?
Bit later than Dickens.
But gaslit still, is it? Still gaslit.
Gaslit, still gaslit, yes. Totally gaslit. Gaslit and rather foggy.
Is it Sherlock Holmes?
It is.
Oh, well done.
Well,
it is.
I wouldn't know where in Sherlock Holmes or what was hidden.
You wouldn't like to try, because
No.
what was hidden is actually the name of the story.
The Hound of the Baskerville.
No, it was the blue
Studies.
carbuncle.
Oh.
And a blue carbuncle was indeed hidden in the crop of a Christmas goose. It was stolen by James Ryder from the Countess of Morcar, if you're interested.
What a difficult round.
Very hard. Still, you had a little bit of help, but you did get Sherlock Holmes. I give you 1 mark. Dilys.
Hit Dilys.
What was hidden in the arms of a statue of the Virgin?
A baby.
No.
It always is.
They're not hidden. That's displayed.
Hidden. Oh.
This was concealed.
Concealed.
A jewel.
No.
Not a jewel.
Something valuable.
A key.
Something important.
Something, it was considered very important by the person who put it there.
Can you eat
The
it?
drunken captain, Elisha Joram.
Drunken captain. A drink, yes. Form of drink. Bottle of whiskey.
Hang on. The
Yes,
Virgin Arms is a pub, clearly. What is hidden in the Virgin Arms, my dear? Or the drunken captain? A parrot. Am I warm?
You were getting warmer, you've got a bit colder again. Now, I'll tell you, it was actually a bottle of port, and it comes from Anthony Adverse, Harvey Allen. The drunken captain, Elisha Joram, placed a bottle of port in the arms of a statue of the Virgin. So that
Never read Anthony Adverse.
where he doubtless considered it would be above, a place above suspicion. Too bad, no marks, I'm afraid. Denis, what was hidden on the corridor side of a hotel room door beneath the small plastic square bearing the room number?
Couldn't be the do not disturb sign.
Yeah, it's
Somebody who wants it to be
orange
disturbed.
juice.
Yeah. Wouldn't be another blue carbuncle.
No.
I can't.
It'd have to be something pretty thin to get behind the...
It's what Hitchcock used to call the MacGuffin. It's the plans. What plans you're immediately going to say in that annoying way?
No, it's not quite the plans. It'd have to be very small. The room numbers aren't very big.
A microfilm.
Now we've got a little too small. No, I think I'm going a micro dot. No, it comes from James Bond. It's James Bond. It's Casino Royale. The first of the James Bond saga. And he won, you remember, he won 40 million French francs at the casino. And he hid the cheque, because he knew they were going to come to get it. He hid the cheque outside the door, behind the little plaque with his room number on it.
Old francs or new francs?
Yeah.
I think in those days, 40 million, I think it must have been old, don't
Yes,
you?
I think
Quite a lot, even for old. Well, you didn't do too well that round, did you, really?
No, we didn't. Nope.
Well, too bad. See if you get on better with this one. Better luck next time. Around this time of poetical requests. Can you recall the line of poetry that follows upon the following request? Frank, tell me the old, old story.
It's a hymn, sir. Is it not? It's a revivalist hymn, isn't it? It's the sort of thing you got on Salvation Army playing in the corners, yes. And I remember it going, I don't know how far I can get. Tell me the old, old story of unseen things above. Tell me the old, old story of Jesus and his love.
How can I withhold 2 marks for such a thing? If only you hadn't been a little, I won't say flat, but perhaps a little uncertain on things, you'd have had 2.5. But still, two without question. Antonia. If I should die, think only this of me.
That there's some corner of a foreign field. That is Forever England.
That is Forever England, by...
Rupert Brooke.
Right, sung beautifully in tune, 2 marks. Well done. Dilys, dear, and all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover.
That's more seafaring.
Yes, Masefield.
Masefield, yes, John Masefield.
I must go down to the BBC again.
And a furrow following free, it's something like that.
No, it rhymes.
It rhymes.
All I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover.
And a something, comma, and a something, comma, and a
over.
half-seas
Over. Half-seas over, yes. Over.
Half-seas over.
Over.
Well, you got the punctuation all right, but you didn't get too many of the words. No, I think I have to tell you, and a quiet sleep and a sweet dream when the long trick's over.
Over.
Yes.
No,
I give you
over.
nonetheless half a mark, because you did get Masefield and you've got those 2 commas. Half mark. Denis, nothing personal in this. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?
Wet and windy.
But I compare thee to a summer's day, thou art more lovely and more temperate.
Oh, you're
Rough
just saying
winds
that.
do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date.
Marvellous, he's given me 4 lines. I only asked for one, so an extra mark for the next 2. If you can finish the sonnet, you can have 2 more. We'll do that afterwards. A quick round now of double definitions. What single word can be defined by the 2 following definitions? Frank. To make known and strictly personal.
Oh, dear. Strictly personal. Privy.
To make known.
Well, you make a person privy to your thoughts.
No, but this is a verb.
And privy is...
This is a verb. To make known.
Don't obscure the answer.
Obfuscate the thing with grammar.
Eschew obfuscation.
Yes, absolutely.
Privy won't do.
Occam's razor is called for.
Privy won't do.
Won't do.
Won't do.
Now,
I think
Frank
it open to
always
the audience. What do I hear? A deafening silence. Intimate.
No.
Yes,
I
yes,
protest.
yes.
It's intimate or intimate.
Yes, but it's
They're
the same
2
word.
words.
I shall give you no marks at all, sir. Antonia
blow.
Fraser. What single word can mean either of unsound legality or a valetudinarian?
Oh, well, I see it's fun with pronunciation. It means it's invalid or invalid.
Invalid or invalid is perfectly right.
Well, you got it again.
You said that you've got 2 marks too. As it is, you've got no marks and she's got 2 marks. Dilys, one word only, which can be used to mean to decline or the detritus of civilization.
Refuse.
Or refuse. Refuse. Right. Well done.
2 different words.
2 marks. 2 marks. Denis, a mass of land and house-trained.
Asia.
You're getting it.
It's very good. Antonio suggests area and area. I tell you what, how about perch, as in rod, pole, or perch? Because if you can get the dog to perch on the newspaper, it's definitely house-trained.
You'll try anything.
I will, yes. A mass of land, house-trained. What's a mass of land? I said I was going to do
big
geography.
mass of land. A huge, enormous mass of land.
Earth. Continent. Yes, thank you.
Continent, with a little help from your friends.
Yes.
Nonetheless...
Continent or continent?
Precisely. I give you 1 mark and 1 mark to the audience. And now we come to the last round and Frank and Denis's quotations. Frank. All things bright and beautiful.
It was said to me by Vicar, not a vicar, but Sergeant Vicar. And it was sent to me when I was in Iceland in the Royal Air Force. And I went to Iceland. I was a photographer in the Royal Air Force. I wasn't rubbish. I was aircraftsman first class. I was a photographer at Warmwell in Dorset, a lovely part, and we had wonderful cameras, a whole lot of super cameras and no aircraft. So time hung heavy. And then Bickerstaff, my associate, aircraftsman first class Bickerstaff, was posted to Iceland, but he was on leave, and he fell down a shell hole in Bradford. What was a shell doing in Bradford? And got his blue all dirty, so he cabled the CO, cannot return, best blue at cleaners. This part of the story is absolutely true. And so I was sent in his place to Iceland in 1942. The troops in Iceland had a broadcasting system there, and I became involved with that. And it was my first experience of broadcasting. And it was a lovely little setup. And there was a Colonel Roberts Ray, I remember his name. He was rather one of those who talked like that. Oh yes, you're doing rather well. Do carry on, aircraftsman. And I used to write things and broadcast on them. The only thing I remember about really interesting about that period was the Icelandic word for a television studio, which is a rikitsomvapsalur. You may take notes. The only other word of Icelandic I remember from those years in Iceland was the Icelandic word for journalist, which is much, much better than ours. The Icelandic word for a journalist is a blathermeister. Well, any road up. I was broadcasting most of the time, and that's 70 miles I had to get to Reykjavik and then back to Cardadanus because I had no duties. And one day, on the way back, there was ice on the road, and we had a 1,500 weight comma truck, and it overturned. And it was okay. We're going slowly, but it just slid off the road and overturned in a ditch. And I walked along to a farmhouse quite near and rang through to the duty officer and said, "Sir, aircraftsman First Class Muir reporting, sir. The commas come to a full stop." And I was arrested. I was put in a charge for being insolent to an officer, and I was hauled up in front of the commanding officer. He's a man of few words because he had a vocabulary of about 14 words. And if you take away "pass the marmalade" and "I'll take the parade," there were very few left. And I said I was broadcasting, and he was so amazed at this. He said, "Promote him to leading aircraftsman." So I got promoted. The sergeant said, "But sir, he's a male factor. He's insolent to an officer." So I got 7 days CB, which we called Jankers, as well as promotion. And I had to polish the mess silver. And so I got my tin of Brasso, and was rubbing up all the silver and the pewter mugs which came from the Royal Flying Corps and gone. And suddenly there was a tremendous blow on the back of my head, and it was this Sergeant Vicar, who was the Royal Air Force Police Sergeant. He said, "You don't use that on those things." He said, "To polish the regimental silver and the pewter tankers, use a drop of gun oil and elbow grease, and rub and rub and rub. And then they come up beautiful, and it keeps them." He said, "Remember, lad, oil things, bright and pewter, fool."
Denis. Pardon me, boy. Is that the Chattanooga choo-choo?
I knew you wouldn't resist the chance.
I couldn't.
I know. All right, well, this one's also sort of a blast from the past, because on my last birthday, I received through the post, with no sender's name or address attached, a carefully wrapped half-pound slab of treacle toffee. Now, I still don't know who sent it. It could have been my dentist trying to drum up a little trade. But what I do recall is how immediately my first bite out of it summoned up two important reminders. One was that if God had meant men over 50 to eat treacle toffee, he would have made our gums Teflon coated. But the other thing it brought to mind was just how large a part that kind of confectionery had played in my growing up process. Now, I don't intend to go all puffy-eyed about the sweets of yesteryear, but there's no denying that few memories can so vividly recapture that period of my life as that of, say, jelly babies, which may have been anatomically perfect, but were so peculiarly adhesive, they always left you with a slight aftertaste of pocket fluff. Well, another confectionery that some of you here may still remember was called sugar watches. Yes? Well, these were so remarkably realistic. They came with a bit of coloured string threaded through the top, which didn't just allow you to wear the whole thing round your neck. It quite frequently tasted better than the watch. But what was most memorable about those vanished delectables was the way some of them provided pleasures that were above and beyond the mere eating of them. And by that, I'm not just referring to such agreeable leisure activities as blowing down your sherbet dab or collecting the free gift coupons in twopenny bars of Nestles. No, what I'm recalling is the significance that certain of them had in the courtship rituals of that time. Now, the most obvious example of that was, of course, publicly inviting a member of the female sex to dip in to your bag of coconut kisses. Now, among my crowd, that constituted a notice of intent that was so explicit, it was practically equivalent to putting an announcement in the Times. But what my best friend, Daniel O'Shea, what he contended could produce even more spectacularly romantic results was 3 penn'orth of what were known as love hearts. Yeah? He maintained that the unique feature of these heart-shaped cashews, apart from them having roughly the consistency of blackboard chalk, their unique feature was that they imparted such an aphrodisiac aroma to the breath, the breather was rendered well-nigh irresistible. which made it really all the more unfortunate that on the only occasion that Danny had a chance to try this theory out on a girl, one Saturday night, on that particular night the tuck shop was sold out of love hearts. So, obliged to fall back on the only other scented sweetmeat that they had in stock, a fiercely glutinous form of nougat that they called a Montélimar chew. Danny popped one of those in his mouth as they sat down on the park bench, then moved in on her for the kill. Well, if I tell you that both he and the girl in question were both still at the stage when they wore braces on their teeth, is it necessary to spell out what happened? By the time the park keeper got to them, they were practically bonded together at the mouth. But you know, such is the power of nostalgia. I still can't think of that incident and that sweetmeat without a song of the period coming into my mind. Poor Danny boy, he sat and ate a nougat choo-choo.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I see from the score sheet that Antonia and Denis are the winners in this week's contest. And so now it's a regretful goodbye from Dilys Powell, Antonia Fraser, Frank Muir and Denis Norden.
In My Word, the chairman was John Julius Norwich. The questions were compiled by Peter Moore, and the programme was produced by Tony Schrein.